Hey, everybody, how are you today? Happy summer solstice or winter solstice, wherever you are in the world. I hope you all had a wonderful day yesterday. Happy belated Father's Day. I'm on here to do your forecast for June 20th through the 30th. So, this is the next 10 days. And like I said, blessed summer solstice, also called Litha, to all of us that partake and celebrate here on the Northern Hemisphere, and blessed winter solstice or Yule for the Southern Hemisphere. So, whatever part of the world you're in, I hope your day was blessed yesterday and today. Now, may the change of seasons, whether celebrating summer or winter, and the turning of the wheel of the year bring everyone out there peace, abundance, and happiness to all. And like I said, happy belated Father's Day to all of you gentlemen out there and you women who wear both hats as mom and dad. Hope you guys had a great day. So Jupiter moved retrograde yesterday, and that was June 20th, 2021, in Pisces. Now, Jupiter is the Lord of luck. He rules wealth, abundance, expansion, and higher knowledge. He brings us opportunities and advantages into our lives. Wherever Jupiter is placed in one's chart, this is where you will have those opportunities and chances in life. He is the Lord of luck for a reason. Now, however, when Jupiter goes retrograde like it did yesterday, it's in Pisces. It doesn't mean that we won't have opportunities or advantages coming our way in the next 5 months, but they will come in different ways. And they might come a little slower, and there might be lessons attached to them in some way. We are being asked by the stars to reevaluate our money matters and look into our spiritual side more. Jupiter is in Pisces. Pisces is a very spiritual sign. I mean, think about the fish and how the Christianity subconsciously chose the fish to represent their religion. So it is a very, very spiritual sign. But it doesn't mean you won't have any opportunities coming your way. They're just going to be coming to you in a little bit different way and different scenario. And we are being asked by the stars right now to reevaluate our money matters and how we make money and how we view money and how we see money. And to look deeper into our spiritual side more. It's about taking care of ourselves and our spiritual side of life. It is a time for those healers out there to start healing themselves instead of always healing others. I hope that makes sense. So for those of you out there that are healers, know that this retrograde in Pisces is a time for you guys as the healers, the energy workers. It's a time to self-care for yourself now. Take care of your spiritual side and your emotional side. All right. Well, on a more positive note, Mercury goes direct in modern astrology on June 22nd. But as you know, I am an ancient astrologer, and I know that the energy is still here until about the 30th of June. And all the issues that come with it will still be here after the 22nd. And obviously, the big event this week is the full moon in Capricorn on Thursday, June 24th at 2:40 p.m. This is the last supermoon of the year. And for those of you who don't know what a supermoon is, it's just a fancy term to let you know that the moon is at its closest point to Earth. So it's closer to Earth, supermoon. And this is going to be the last one of the year. And I will go over that in detail. In a couple of days from now, I'll get on here and I will do the full moon forecast in Capricorn. And I'll do it so you can actually see my face. And I'll pull some cards that day as well. I apologize for not getting on here the last few days. I actually had some company in town and I still have the company here. So I snuck away for a few minutes to get this recorded. Now, I do want to talk about Venus because Venus, the goddess of love, enters into Leo, the fifth house of love. So, anytime this is going to happen on June 27th, 2021, and anytime you have Venus moving into Leo, this is where passion and love become intense and extremely magnetic. This placement shows their love by treating you as the most important soul on the planet. They can be very not domineering with this placement and they will try and rule you, but know that they do that out of complete and total love for you. A Venus in Leo is a very, very lovely placement. They can be a little, what's the word I'm looking for? If you're a total free spirit, you will not like a Leo and Venus because their love is so consuming. But it's like I said, domineering is the best word I could think of here. Souls born with this placement are usually gorgeous, magnetic, and loyal to their lovers. Their love for the person that they fall in love with, their love is pure and true. Okay. This placement rules the seat of attraction as well, and therefore will behold tremendous creativity and ambition. They will give much to their own children too. This makes very, very good parents, this placement as well. So that is Venus in Leo, and that's there for about 4 weeks. And for my magical folk, this is going to be a short and sweet video. But for my magical folk, right now the moon, we are in days of caution, I think for the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. And the energy is in a scorpionic energy. So the next couple of days, any kind of work for high divination, spirit boards, clairvoyance, pendulum work, tarot will be blessed under the Scorpio moon energy. Also, paranormal investigation as well would do very well here. And that's from the 20th and the 21st. Now, June 23rd and 24th, this is going to be a great time for spell work for healing pets or doing spell work for pet protection because it's a Sagittarian moon and it's in the new moon phase. So this is perfect time to do any kind of spell work to protect your pets, bind your pets, healing your pets, anything like that will work well under this energy. Also, if you want to do spell work to get you into learning higher knowledge or some sort of a class you want to take, this is a good time to do the spell work for that. And also court cases, because Sagittarius rules laws and courts. And so if you're dealing with any kind of court issues, this is the perfect time to deal with court cases. Now, I will give you more information when we hit the full moon on spell work that can be done in the full moon of Capricorn. Remember, that's the 10th house, so that's going to be spell work dabbling in the realm of your own self, your own personal gain. This is also career. This is about doing spell work for things like that. But we'll talk more about that in the next one. And hey, Kapui, how are ya? Happy solstice to you too. I hope you had a lovely day. It has been so miserably hot here that I haven't gone outside much. We kind of stay in the house. Half the United States is on this heat wave, and I'm right smack dab in the middle of it. Luckily, I'm not in Phoenix where it's like 116, but 102 is pretty damn hot too. So we have been dealing with not rolling blackouts, but where we can't use major appliances between the hours of 11 and 7. So I don't think I've turned my oven on in weeks just because it's just too darn hot. But yes, I hope you're doing well. But yes, that is the forecast for June 20th through the 30th. I'll probably pull a card later and put it on my TikTok. I don't know if any of you out there do TikTok, but if you liked what you saw here, give me a like here. But go to my TikTok page too, Astro underscore Strega, Strega. I'm gonna probably pull a card this evening. Once I get to 250 followers on TikTok, I can link my website, and that'll help promote my business. So, if you any of you out there are TikTokers, get on TikTok. I need 4 more people. I'm living the dream. What did she say? I'm living the dream today. I'm glad. I'm so happy. It's so wonderful when you're living the dream. You know, that's the best thing you could do is live the dream. I'm glad it was beautiful there. It's not that it's not beautiful here. It's just a little too hot. And like I look out my window and I can see one of the fires burning in Flagstaff. So I'm just like going, oh God, I hope that stays on that side of the mountain and doesn't jump mountains. And, it seems closer than it really is, but you just never know. I mean, the power of fire is just very powerful. And with it being so dry here in Arizona, and I know California's in this problem too. I don't blame you. If my kids wouldn't have put me on TikTok, I would have never done it either. Now that they've trained me, I know how to do it, but it is kind of asinine. And I, I'm trying to find the words and how to say this, and I don't really know how, but I'm just going to come out and say it. There are people in this world that should never, ever, ever be taught magic, because some of the crap I'm seeing, like, for example, and I'm just going to give this one example. I could give many, but this is the one example. She's not even a lady. It's a child, in my opinion. It's like a teenager or someone in their early 20s talking about how they're mad at someone. So how they're going to get back at them is by casting a spell and hexing their children. Holy shit. I'm like, okay. I actually went in there and said something like, you know what? I don't care whether you're a white witch, a black witch, a satanic witch, a Luciferian, from on the Deanic path. Everybody knows that the universal laws are: you do not harm children. You do not take the sins of the parent out on the child. It's an innocent child. They know nothing of what the parent's doing, probably. So when I saw that, I was kind of enraged when I saw that. I'm just like, there's in magic, there are universal laws that you have to abide by. My broom sisters know this. Satanic witches know this. And I know there are witches out there that do baneful magic, and that's okay. That's your choice. But to cast out on someone's child is so fucking wrong that the karma train is going to come for you. So to all of you out there that are listening to me, and I know I have some followers that are younger witches. If you don't know something, just ask. Okay, and I don't mean ask on TikTok. And it doesn't mean that you have to ask me. There are other witches on this platform with just as much knowledge, if not more, than I possess. But ask someone. Don't just cast out, because it will come back to you. And I'm not one of these people that believes in the threefold law. I don't believe in that. I believe that is a Wiccan mindset created by men, because Wicca is a religion. Anyone can be a witch. Wicca is more of a religion, which I am not in. But most everybody in every form of magic knows: do not harm children. And if you are out there doing that, well, you're pretty fucked up, pardon my French, to be doing that. Oh, the karma train comes. I mean, if you're going to mess with children, uh, you be prepared to reap the consequences. I was just having this conversation last night with a friend of mine who is a Luciferian witch, and she even said it's in Satanism. Apparently, one of the 10 Commandments is do not harm children. So you can't sit there and say, Satanists abuse kids. And I'm not sitting here on a bandwagon for Satanists. I'm just stating the facts of their 10 Commandments and their religion or laws or whatever. It's not really a religion. A lot of Satanists are atheists, but the darker witches, the ones that do the more baneful, they're like, nope, absolutely not. You never touch a child, you never harm a child. And that is my rant for the day about children and magic. And that's why I say there are some people out there that should never be taught this shit because, number one, they abuse the knowledge and the gifts that they've been given by doing stuff like this. And then number two, it makes all of us out there who are I don't want to call us good witches, but those of us out there, because really a witch is a healer. It's just that in the United States, we live in a puritanical country where witch always has a bad um, uh, mantra attached to it. Now, you go to Italy and you say you're a witch, and they think you're a medicine woman, which is what they once were in Italy and in ancient Europe. Hold on, Kapui, I want to read what you said here. We each have our own brand of magic. Rules vary, but we are guided by universal laws. Absolutely. We are absolutely guided by universal laws. I mean, yeah, every type of branch of witchcraft, eclectic, traditional, there's always those universal laws that you have to follow. Now, I know that, there's people that don't believe in the threefold law, and I don't believe in that either. My grandmother always told me, is it justified? If it's justified, then you can do it. And that's the way it is. Must have an Italian past life. Yes. But it's true. Is it justified? I mean, even in Conjure, and I know a lot of like hoodoo priestess, and people are into voodoo and hoodoo, and a lot of them from the South, and they do Conjure, and they even say, is it justified? So I'm going to give you a perfect example, and I think I've told this story once before, but I'm going to make it short and sweet. Several years ago, I'm a radio DJ, so I deal with all kinds of musicians. I deal with concert promoters, record producers, things like that. There was a concert promoter going around, and I met him. Luckily, I never experienced this, but I usually brought people with me to shows, and I wasn't by myself, and that could have been why. But he was going around drugging the women he met up with and date raping them. Okay, he's got away with this for years because his father was a cop. Okay, so one of the women that he happened to do this to, not only was she a manager for a major metal band, um, she was very involved in Wicca. She was a witch, but she didn't like to do the darker stuff. So I said to her, he has to be stopped. He has to be stopped. I go, if we don't get involved and we don't do something, we're not going to be able to do something in the mundane world, but we have to do something in the magical world. So I told her I would take care of this, and I did. And I called upon Lilith. And Lilith is an excellent deity to call upon when you need to deal with abusive men, to empower you as a woman, to regain your strength back, and let your own self know you are boss again. It's also karmic redemption in some way, sending it out to them because he deserved this. God knows how many women he raped, And trust me, Lilith did get him in the end. So, moral to this story is, was the work I did justified? You betcha. You betcha. And Lilith took care of him. So that's what I'm saying about magic. She is, you know what, when it comes to, I love Lilith, even though people think she's a demon and a devil and she's this and she's that. She is the Me Too movement. Lilith, I've said this before. She is what is the word I'm looking for? She is the beacon of female power and women's empowerment, and taking everything that men have taken from you, taking all of that back. And you call upon her and she will come and she will help. Just have to ask nicely and be respectful. Excuse me. That's my little spiel on magic. And I'm really curious, it's just you and me, Kapui, in here, but I'm really curious for all of you out there that listen to this. Put something in the message board that tells me how you feel about this. I want to hear from other witches and other spiritualists about this, and about this thing with children, because I find it incredibly disturbing. And maybe it's because I worked with children for so many years that I'm an advocate for them. I would never dream of harming them, So for some baby witch to come and think she's all this, you guys are playing with fire, is what you're doing. Playing with fire, and I worry. Let's just put it that way. And with that being said, I'm going to leave on this note, because I know some of you have followed me over here from TikTok, and I really don't like the platform. It's toxic. It's vile. People are constantly fighting. Yes, ma'am, Doris. Hello, hon. Children are a blessing. Yes, they are. And I'm one of the biggest advocates for them. I mean, I miss the years of working with them. I was a special needs instructional aide and a one-to-one specialist, a behavioral specialist. So I enjoyed working with those special needs kids, but I enjoy working with kids in general. They're just, they make your day. They're just, I would rather be in a classroom full of kids than in an office full of adults. Let's just put it that way. I don't know. Kids are real. Adults aren't. They're phony and fake. And kids are just the real deal. But you're right, Doris. Children are a blessing. But yes, I am curious. So if you do hear my broadcast, I do want comments about this, because I find it incredibly disturbing. You're absolutely right, Doris. They are smarter than adults, especially the special needs ones. The special needs children are brilliant. They're brilliant. Their minds are genius minds. They just have social skill issues, and those can be worked on through time. But yes, kids are much smarter than adults. It's kind of funny because adults think that they know it all. And even working in the school systems, you've got the administrators who think that, they're better than everybody else, and you're just the little teacher's aide, peon that doesn't know anything. But I'm going to tell you something. We had a little boy who had severe emotional issues to where he'd get so upset he would actually start hitting you, and he knew he was doing wrong, and he'd be crying while he was hitting you and saying, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit you. I realized from getting a hold of that little guy's birthday and looking at his stars, the next day I went back to school. I brought a baggie full of crystals, and he had a wild imagination, and he always wanted to be like, he'd take rocks and make it's like he was making a grid, but they were with the rocks he collected on the playground, and he'd make a circle and he'd put himself in that circle. So one day I went next day I came to school with a big bag of all my crystals, and I said to him, I'm not going to say his real name, but um, let's just call him David. David, Miss Linda brought something today that I think you're really going to enjoy. You have to go outside, though, to look at them. And I must have brought about 20 different crystals, all different kinds, amethyst, selenite, you name it, I had it. And he was just like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. And so he says to me, let's go outside and I'll make a grid, and we'll protect each other, and I'll put you in the grid too. And he made this crystal grid on the grass, put himself inside, put myself inside, and we ate our lunch inside the grid. And he's doing so much better now, but I let him take home a couple of crystals that day, and I'm still in contact with his mother. In fact, she just had another baby, and she said to me, till this very day, he looks at those crystals and he talks about Miss Linda. So the point to this story is the administration doesn't know everything. Sometimes the spiritual side can come out. Kids relate to that, especially the special needs kids. They have an energy about them that is more metaphysical than the average child. I'm not saying that they're crystal children or anything, but that there's something there. They understand the esoteric world more than the mundane world. Oh, you're welcome, Doris. I love working with kids. If I wasn't taking care of my mother right now, I would probably be working part-time as an instructional aide here in Arizona. But for now, I still have my certificate and my license, and someday I will go back to doing it part-time because it gives me joy. It just does. Along with doing astrology readings, that's the only other thing I enjoy doing is helping children. So, but yeah, they're amazing. They are amazing. Anyway, that is my little spiel, and I was only going to get on here for 10 minutes, but you guys got me talking about kids and crazy people doing witchcraft on children, and I'm just like, I guess I needed to vent all of that out on a YouTube video. But Kapui, don't worry, I understand. Now I know when I get on here, someone said to me the other day, I don't like going on YouTube because I don't ever have an audience. I go, well, you know what? You don't know if you're, I DJ, so I don't know if I have any listeners out there when I'm DJing. I just do my job and I do it, and that's what I'm doing here today. I felt bad because I didn't get on over the weekend. Like I said, I've had company here, Father's Day, and I still have company. But I do promise I will get back on here with my face, and I'll pull some cards right before the full moon. Let me see what you guys are saying here. You've worked with special needs kids too. You know what I find interesting? I've noticed something here about people that are tied to the esoteric world. A lot of them work with special needs kids. And I think it's a beautiful thing because, to be perfectly honest, I think someone that has knowledge of the esoteric, not necessarily witchcraft, but, energy healer, chakras, anything like that. You have a good evening too, Doris. Thank you for tuning in. I think people that are inclined to dabble in that seem to have a little more compassion for kids, special needs kids. I don't know what it is. Can't explain it, but I've noticed this pattern even in my former coworkers that I worked with. I had one who was a Buddhist. I had, another instructional aide I worked with. She was a part-time yoga instructor. Then there was another one, and they were like a Luciferian. So I'm noticing all of these different esoteric paths. Then you have myself, who's the astrologer. And so I'm going, wow, maybe a lot of us that are in the esoteric know deep down inside that it's our mission to help these kids in some ways, because we know that the educational matrix that's there in place now isn't going to help them as much. All they are now is a statistic and a number. As adults, why aren't we working out the adult relationships instead of going around it? That's true. It's a good point. I think nowadays it's easier to text someone than it is to call them up and talk to them or meet them somewhere and talk to them face to face. Everything is so digitalized, and the technology isn't a bad thing, but it does um, make things very impersonal nowadays. Don't you think? I mean, everything is a text, or there's nobody really makes a phone call anymore, and things like that. I don't know. It's just observations I notice. Rose quartz. Yeah, rose quartz. True. The stone of friendship and self care. I love rose quartz. That's my favorite. But yes, anyway, that is it for me. I will be back on here. It's what? It is Monday. At least I didn't come on here and say happy Friday like last time. Oh my God. And it was Doris who reminded me it's only Thursday. So the full moon is on Thursday. I have plans tomorrow, so I will get back on here on Wednesday. I thank you. I just adored that kid. To this day, I still keep in touch with a great deal of the students I took care of. In fact, the very last one I took care of, he was not special needs at all. He just had ADHD, and he had some anger management issues. And he was an Aries, so I learned to work around it and work with him. And called me last week crying because he found out I moved out of state. I felt so bad. I'm like, um, well, if you're ever in Arizona, you can come visit Miss Linda. I still keep in touch with his mom because I want to see how he's doing. I want him to succeed. And I always kind of felt like, especially with that little guy, he was very misunderstood. And I'm going to tell you, from looking at that little guy's stars, you've got the next Elon Musk, or you've got someone working in his mind. He's Aries, Capricorn moon, um, rising and midheaven were both in Aquarius. So this kid had a gift with computers and technology. I mean, even when my computer wasn't working, I'd be like, hello, can you help me? And he'd just get right on in there and do this, and that. I mean, like a little baby genius. And I'm like going, oh my God. So, yes, children are amazing. And each and every one of them has a different gift and a different talent. And that's the beauty of being able to do their stars and look into it. I mean, I never told anybody I was doing their stars, but I had an advantage. I get to look at their stars, and it tells me what their strengths, what their weaknesses are, what their likes, what their dislikes are. And that actually made me a better instructional aid. It was my secret weapon. Not everyone has an astrology software, but I don't know, just something about astrology and the stars and being able to tap into their little UCI and their little psyche to see exactly how they tick. Like the one kid with the crystal grid, I could have never done the crystal grid with the ADH boy. That was all different. Now the ADH boy, he would like to sit on my laptop all day and look and talk about UFOs. So you had one kid into UFOs, and then you had another kid who was on the spectrum, severe spectrum, but was fascinated with crystals and dragons. So it just depends, but they're all individual little souls with all different little interests and likes and dislikes. And it's just amazing. And I miss it. Now you guys got me thinking of working with kids again. Anyway, I got to go because I have 5 cats staring at me going, lady, it's dinner time. So thank you guys for joining me. Kapui, Doris, thanks so much, and have a great evening. And I will be back Wednesday sometime, and I'll be doing some angel card readings and stuff like that. So behave, stay cool. I know it's hot in many parts of the world. Ciao, Doris, and we'll talk soon. Bye.